Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subscribed if you are. If you aren't, go ahead and hit that button. And if you are listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button while you're at it. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. I just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation. Now, there's this story that's been going viral about this sex worker, pretty much, but rapper. She has been on reality TV, Love and Hip Hop Miami. I didn't watch it. I don't follow her. Definitely not into her music. Sukihana. And I remember when she was interviewed by Tasha K on Tasha K's YouTube channel. I want to say maybe it was a couple of years ago. I do watch a lot of Tasha K's interviews. I will say that's one that I hopped off. I was just not interested in listening to it because I'm no prude, but they're just some things I don't need to listen to that. I don't need to hear it. I'm not judging anybody for their own choices, but don't judge me for mine. Because one of the things that I kind of despise and I have a pet peeve with is people who are pretty sexually open and they talk about it, and that's fine. And if you have this life and lifestyle where you open it, pretty much to whoever you feel like doing it with, and you get money for it too, that's your right to do that, I guess. But don't judge people who don't live that life and say that, well, we all do it. Because no, we don't all do it like that. That's just not true. So like I said, one of the pet peeves that I have about people who are pretty open to things like that is to downplay the judgment on what they do. What they will do is do a blanket statement and say, well, everybody has been a hoe sometime in their life. Everybody actually has not been a hoe in their life. That's just not true. But if that's what you want to do, then that's okay. But don't judge people who don't want to do that. So I just wanted to kind of start off there because I'm not judging her for what she's doing. But this isn't even about her. This actually is about Kandi. Because when I heard about it, I wasn't really interested in the story altogether. Not saying that what this girl experienced, or young lady, she's not a girl, what she experienced, which they're saying that she had been put in a situation where she was harassed, made to feel uncomfortable, and she was pressed upon pretty aggressively by some men, and people like these guys felt like, I guess it's okay because this is what she does for a living. She talks about it. She raps about it. Even her social media handle is, I think that it says Suki with the good, you know what? So anyway, I'm not saying that anybody deserves to be pressed upon and be dealt with that way just because you do that for a living or you even talk about it yourself. If you didn't open yourself up to that person's advances, then no one deserves to be treated that way. So I'm not saying that. But when it comes to Kandi, I'm just, at this point, I feel like Kandi needs to evolve and graduate from the dungeon. Years ago, we get it. She's been on the Real Housewives of Atlanta since season 2. And I even just recently did a podcast where I said maybe it's time for her to take a cue from Bethany and just exit from the Real Housewives of Atlanta before they X her off of it. Because I'm not saying that she should give up her money. I get it. She's getting a real good check for being on the show at this point in time. But that's not going to last forever. Let's just be serious about it. And it's ironic because I just talked about how the reality shows, they are, when they started out, they are about introducing us to people that most of us don't really know. But if it comes to a point when this show has been going on for 15, 16 years, whatever, then you pretty much know these people, and then you're just looking for the drama because drama just happens to have happened on the show. And then I saw a YouTube video recently where Funky Dineva, he pretty much said the same thing I said. And I'm not saying that validates what I said, But it is kind of good to know that somebody who has been doing this reality show review thing for a long time now and even knows some of the people that are on these reality shows pretty much agrees with what I said, which I believe I said it first on here, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not one of those people that wants to be the first to say anything, but I'm just saying that it was a good feeling to know that he agreed pretty much with what I said. But anyway, I digress. Years ago, the rumor that Portia put out there about Kandi and Todd, and she and Todd wanted to possibly give her some stuff to get her under the influence and take her back to their dungeon and have their way with her. And that came out on the reunion that Phaedra was the one that told her that. I didn't agree with Phaedra getting disciplined and Portia not getting disciplined either, because Portia played the dumb role like she usually does, the dumb blonde that she was just so unaware and I'm sorry, I didn't know, I never would have said that if I didn't think that it was true. Girl, whatever. But anyway, they chose to give Phaedra the axe and keep Portia on. And Kandi held a grudge for a while with Portia, but she said, I will never be on this show if they bring Phaedra back. Okay, but you monetized the rumor by creating the dungeon tour. Yeah, you had your adult body pleasure line. You know what I'm talking about, that she created years ago, and she's been making money off of that. She had the Kandi Coded Nights podcast that she had been doing for years before she even got on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? At this point in time, even though you were a mother back then when you were doing that, you are a mother, an older mother, and you have 2 more children at this point, 2 younger children, and you want to be an EGOT. You want to have that on your resume of being an EGOT. Maybe being associated with this type of situation is not a good look. And I'm not saying that she has to axe it completely or get rid of it, but maybe she could hire somebody else to sit in her place and she not even be on it anymore, but just own it if it's monetized. When it comes to Kandi, I'm quite sure that it's a monetized platform, because everything she pretty much does, it's for a check. And I'm not even saying that to knock her, but she's just about her business. It's rarely she's doing anything where it's just, oh, it's a fun thing to do, it's a good idea, or I'm just volunteering my time. No, she said herself that she's about her checks. So it's not a knock. But if she wants to continue having a platform like that, then she just needs to give it to somebody else to handle and not be on it anymore. Because to listen to her laughing when this guy, the DJ A1 guy, is saying things to this girl that are explicit, where, yeah, she's responding back to him, but she's saying that she was made to feel uncomfortable, and allegedly he showed her a picture of his schlong. Okay? Like, and Kandi's sitting right there, she's laughing. I don't know if the laughter is out of a nervous laugh or just like, I don't really know what to say or do, so I'm just going to laugh right now. But there's a point in time where you need to remove yourself from certain situations. And you made a check off of it. You made the money. You did the dungeon tour. You decided to try to flip what was supposed to be a negative on your life into a positive, which for her, doing that is about making money off of it and profiting off of the pain, and she did that. But now listening to this and hearing the laughter of her just sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, this does not look good, Kandi. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't look good for you to be associated with this and all of these things about this Sukihana girl, with her coming on saying she's been made to feel scared, to stand up for herself. And, all of this stuff just recently happening with these guys forcing themselves on her pretty much is crazy. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't look good for Kandi to be associated with this type of stuff when you're saying you're pursuing becoming an EGOT. I don't know many other EGOTs that are associated with stuff like that. And that can turn judges off. And I'm not saying that it would be right for her to have a good body of work that deserves to win an award. But because of stuff like this, we know there's a lot of politics and stuff like that. Like, why would you risk being blackballed or having yourself looked at in a negative light? Because not just because you were sitting there laughing while this was going on, but just the mere fact that you are still connected to this and this is what you're doing amongst all of the other things that you're doing. A lot of those judges may look at that and say, why is she even doing something like this? And yeah, they may be judging and they may not be in a place to judge because we don't know what's going on in their personal lives, but there's that. It's their personal lives. Because when it comes to people judging, sometimes people say, well, you can't judge. They can't judge because we don't know what's going on in their personal lives. But that's the thing. It's their personal lives. This right now is Kandi's business that she has out there on Front Street. And to just sitting and listening to her laughter, it just was very uncomfortable for me. The whole thing for me was just uncomfortable, but to hear Kandi's laughter, that's what I actually heard over everything else. That's what I honed in on, simply because I'm not even familiar with this DJ A1 person, and I don't follow or get into the Sukihana chick either. So that isn't even what I would be listening to or paying attention to. I, being the person that is more familiar with Kandi, I would be paying more attention to Kandi. And I feel that those people who are in the position to judge Kandi and possibly prevent her from getting into those spaces that she desires to get into with being this EGOT winner, they would be more familiar with Kandi than they would be with the DJ A1 or the Sukihana. So they're going to own in more on her than those other two people, when in actuality, yeah, it's more so about them, but it's because it's her platform and she's sitting right there and she's laughing, the laughter and the giggling. It just didn't sit well with me. It made me feel uncomfortable too. And with Sukihana being younger than her, even though this is what she does when she initiates it, I'm assuming, when it's what she wants to do, I'm assuming. But for Kandi to be another female sitting there and to have this guy being aggressive with her in this way, even if it would have been fake for Kandi to say, come on now, DJ A1, don't do that. Like, what are you doing right now? It wasn't anything like that. She was just like laughing at it. And it just made it seem like she was condoning his behavior. And I just don't think that it sits well. It's really not a good look. And Kandi to be associated with this guy that Sukihana said made her feel uncomfortable. And she's also sitting there laughing at it. But she's trying to pursue these higher heights in her career at this point in time, literally at this point in time. I just feel that it really isn't a good look. And I don't know if Todd can tell her what to do. I'm sure he can suggest. He is her husband. And they have, shared some of the things that they like to do in their spare time, opening up their bedroom to other people. Look, if that's what y'all want to do, fine. But for Todd, I feel like even because he's shown himself at some points in time on the show, when it's filming at least, to be the voice of reason with her, to try to tell her, look, you need to slow down. You got a family. Do you have to go and film for that show or do that movie or whatever? Like, just trying to get her to just like slow down and do more family time. At least we've seen that in previous seasons. I know what they're showing right now is he's hustling to try to get a movie or something like that off of the ground and wants her to help to produce it. But he's been the voice of reason at some points in time, so I don't know if he's mentioning any of this to her. I would hope that he is. I would imagine that he would, especially with him being a man and caring so much about the brand. And Kandi is a brand. I feel that she needs to dissolve herself from the brand of the dungeon and being all about just being open and free and sexually fluid and blah, 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 blah. It's like, girl, save that for your personal time and just be about the business that you're trying to evolve into to do more of, and being that EGOT versus being about the dungeon. I just feel that it's time for her to graduate from the dungeon and just leave that behind. And maybe she'll come out and make a statement about this, which she tends to do when stuff seems to get pretty bigger and it's running for a little bit on the blogs. She has her speak on it, so she may come out there and talk about it on her own, or maybe have herself and DJ A1 on there to discuss it and have him apologize or whatever. I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. I haven't seen any updates on that since this has happened. But when I heard about it, I just really wanted to talk about Kandi, her part in it, and just letting that part go. You've monetized the rumor about the dungeon that you say you don't have and you think it's cool. And if you really had one of those, you would show it off because you really think it's cool. So you did the dungeon tour. You made the money from it. But you did the Mother's Love tour too. That's not still going. Let that go. My personal opinion, of course, you guys can think what you want. Just let me know your thoughts respectfully in the comment section. What do you feel about all of this with the Sukihana situation, being on Kandi's podcast, with the guy, how he came on to her and made her feel, and Kandi sitting there laughing at the situation, but yet Kandi wanting to evolve to become an EGOT winner at this point in time, while also all of these rumors are swirling about how the Real Housewives of Atlanta's ratings have tanked, and they're thinking about possibly making cuts on the show and doing some revamping. I'm actually here for revamping. I've spoken about that before. They've done it for the Real Housewives of New York. I feel like they need to do it if they want to keep going with all of these franchises that they currently have. Do it for all of them, because, I mean, at this point in time, we know most of these people. You either love them or you hate them. There's really not going to be much changing when it comes to how people feel about these people. And so put some new people on the show and just start fresh. You can still follow the people and let us know what's going on in their lives if people care to know. But I don't know. I could definitely be up for a revamping of the Real Housewives of Potomac, because I can't stand Giselle and Robin. I'm just over them. And I like some of the other ladies, but I'm just kind of over all of them too. Just nothing personal, just business. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.